Now, one thing about me is I love the Man United legends as players, but as pundits, I question a lot of their takes. I don't often agree with some of the Manchester United legends, but I do find myself agreeing with little bits of what Paul Scholes has said today. We're going to talk about Paul Scholes' basic rant about Amorim and Manchester United and it being anti-Manchester United. And, has Paul Scholes hit the nail on the head? Was he a little harsh because we are sixth? Is the criticism of Amorim fair? Are we being too harsh on Amorim? We're going to have a conversation about it. And look, all opinions, all views are welcome. Let me know your thoughts down below on what Paul Scholes has said below. Let me know your stance on Amorim down below. But what I will say is I think there's a really good opportunity to sneak fifth, and fifth could get UCL football this season because we win 2 games and we're sitting in 4th place. We lose 2 games, we're sitting in 13th place. That is the Premier League right now. We should be able to beat Bournemouth. They haven't won in a long time. But then we've got this sort of AFCON run and we could slip down the table to 13th, or we could come out in January after AFCON and we could be in 4th and say, well, Ahmed and Mbeumo are going to come back into this. And I think the second half of the season, there's 9 teams in the Premier League that will have 2 games a week because of European football. We won't have that second half of the season. So I think we have a huge advantage over everyone. We saw the second half versus Palace. This is a big chance for United to potentially sneak UCL football. But is Amorim capable of that? And even if Amorim does get that, is he the right man? Because I want to talk about Paul Scholes' comments. I want to talk about a few of his comments and give you my opinion on it. Because I think with Ruben Amorim, the concern isn't necessarily just results. It's the way we play, the way we set up the performances. Paul Scholes. So I'm going to share 3 things Paul Scholes said, and this is the first. Man United is about risk and entertainment more than anything. Having fans on the edge of the seat ready to effing go. Wingers who beat people, shots on goal, bits of skill. There's nothing there that's from the club. We talk about this as a different club. They've got Barada, they've got Wilcox, who are probably brilliant at their job, but what they do, but they're not Man United. They don't have a clue what it is like to buy a Man United player or bring in a United manager. Now, this is the first of 3 things that Paul Scholes has said. And at the end of the day, right now, this doesn't feel like Man United. 15th Europa League final loss, but the football we played for the last year is not United. There's not many players at this club that you're like, that's a United player. Man United should be about pace, wingers that take people on, that make things happen, players that get you off your feet and excite you. I think Cunha has potential to be a Man United player, so does Mbeumo. And I think, to be fair to us, I think their recruitment this year has been a lot better than in the past. They're signing more Man United players. But maybe there's a point about Barada and Wilcox. They're good at their jobs, but maybe they don't understand what Man United is. It's not 3 at the back. It's not no wingers, we have wing backs. It's not this defensive approach. Even against 10 men, we won't bring on an attacker. We will have to sub on defenders. Even when we're against West Ham, we have to bring on about 5 defenders. It's not ignore the youth. This is not Man United. And look, Paul Scholes, in my opinion, chats a lot of nonsense. And this isn't me going on Amorim, but this is me saying, Amorim could finish 5th this season, and 5th he should rightly probably keep his job because that's Champions League football and that's a good achievement to get us back on track for phase 2. But do you look at Amorim and think, and the club and the way that we're playing right now and the way we're operating right now and say this is Man United? No. For me, you can play 3 at the back and you can make it more expansive and you can make it more attacking. And maybe Amorim plans to do that when he gets the right players in. But we don't play football that's nice to watch. You can't lie to me, whether you're Amorim in, whether you're Amorim out, whatever your stance is. You cannot lie to me and say, as a Man United fan, you've liked the football we've played the last year. It's not been good. I mean, I look at it and I think the Sunderland game was a convincing win. There was a really good first half an hour versus Fulham. There was a really good first half versus Burnley. There was a really good second half versus Wolves. But actually, in general, the football we've played this season, you look at Everton, you look at West Ham, you've got the first half versus Crystal Palace, you've got the first half versus Wolves. Why are we playing football that negative, that defensive? Why, when we're against West Ham and it's 1-1, we're bringing on a defender? I think Paul Scholes is right. And I saw FPL Fraser's post here, which I agree with. Scholes has a strong point. Someone should send this to Amorim. Man United's always about risk and entertainment. Pace, power, penetration, unpredictability, the DNA of Man United. Now you could say, look at Arsenal. They're quite boring to watch. It's defensive, it's set pieces, it's clean sheets FC, and look at where they are now. Surely we'd rather play crap football and kind of be first, second, and win things. And yeah, you're probably right. Jose Mourinho we appointed, I wouldn't ever say he was a Man United manager, but he was a winner. He was a serial winner and he won stuff here. So you could argue, well, you look at Arsenal, you look at just like what's doing well right now, and it is more negative football. There's less players. We don't have the players to do this. We don't have the players to take risks. But Man United is about the youth, it's about pace, power, unpredictability, and I feel like we've lost that. And I'm not completely blaming Ruben Amorim here, I'm blaming the club, the recruitment, a mixture of things. But it does feel a little bit like Manchester United. I don't know, I feel like our identity's gone, and our identity's been gone a while. But Paul Scholes also said another thing. If I go to Sporting Lisbon and watch them play, they play three at the back. Right away, that's a no. Man United never do that. They can't do that. They just can't. It's been proven over years and years, and I'm talking even before Sir Alex Ferguson, it was always about the 4-4-1-1 or a 4-4-2, or, now it's more of a 4-2-3-1 and entertaining people. Ruben Amorim hasn't got that in him. He brought on 4 defenders against West Ham. If we're 1-0 up, the manager always says 2-3-4. I remember once, I think we were playing Chelsea and we went 1-0 up and we sat back a bit. Now, Chelsea were a good team and the manager went nuts at us sitting back. That doesn't happen here. Like Man United went 1-0 up against Chelsea back in the day. They sat back. The manager went nuts. I want 2 goals, 3 goals, 4 goals. Amorim goes 1-0 up. He brings on 4 defenders. 1-0 up, we bring on 4 defenders. 1-1, he brings on defenders. He plays try not to lose football. Rather than trying to win, he plays try not to lose football. You look at Unai Emery. Unai Emery was 1-1 with Arsenal. And he took off a player in Matty Cash, who's a defender, and brought in an attacker in Emi Buendia. He took off his right back for a right winger. And what happens? Emi Buendia, the player he brought on, scored the winner. And they got 3 points versus Arsenal. They could have very much sat back and said, we'll take a 1-1 draw versus Arsenal any day. They're top of the league. They went, we're going to play to win this. And they bring on Emi Buendia, who scores the winner. I agree with Paul Scholes, and I don't agree with a lot of Paul Scholes' takes. But look at Unai Emery, the attacking subs he made. You can argue Ruben Amorim doesn't have those subs. But as a manager, we're 1-0 up and he brings on 4 defenders and then we still can't keep a clean sheet. For me, if I'm Ruben Amorim and I say, well, this team can't keep a clean sheet, if we're 1-0 up, maybe instead of bringing on 4 defenders, I will bring on attackers and aim to make it 2-0 because we play our best football when we're given space. And when we're a goal up, we get given more space. But when we're a goal up, we sit back, bring on 4 defenders and defend. So that the fact that we get given more space doesn't matter. But now if we go 1-0 up, because we're given more space and we attack the space, maybe we'll make it 2-0. Man United way should be about, we're 1-0 up against West Ham, we bring on 4 defenders. That shouldn't be the Man United way. Man United way should be, let's batter them 3-4-0. Versus Wolves went and scored 3-4 goals. We need to do that more. And I think Paul Scholes is right. It's not Man United to bring on all these defenders, to play 5 at the back, to be this defensive. And the other thing is the youth. Say what you want, but Kobbie Mainoo's going to have to leave, Paul Scholes said. He said, and he's been very backing of Kobbie Mainoo. I've never seen Paul Scholes back a player like he backs Kobbie Mainoo. Kobbie Mainoo's going to have to leave. And you know what will happen now? He will get brought on. He won't play great because he needs 5, 6, 7 games to get up to scratch. And Amorim will go, told you so. And he's probably right. That will probably be what happens. He needs a few games to warm up. He gets brought on. Amorim's like, I told you so. I told you so. But it's true. We're ignoring the youth. We're very defensive. The football is very defensive. Amorim is in 6th. Amorim has an opportunity to sneak a top 5 finish. And fair play to Amorim if he does that. But as a Man United fan, I want to see more attacking football. I want to see more risks. Maybe we need a few more players for that. Maybe we need a few more players in the squad to do that. Our bench isn't as good as other teams' bench. Don't get me wrong. But ignoring the youth, defending, when we're 1-1 against West Ham, bringing on a defender when you could have given Shea Lacey 15 minutes, it doesn't feel very United. And I don't often agree with Paul Scholes. And he's been very harsh on Amorim here. And it's not necessarily an Amorim, it's about the club and the identity. But I do agree with Paul Scholes. I actually do agree with Paul Scholes. I want to see attacking football. I want to see exciting football. I'm not saying we have the players to do that. I'm not expecting us to be perfect. I'm not saying a new manager goes in and does that. But I want to see more risks. I want to see a more attacking approach because ultimately that is what Manchester United is about. And I'm intrigued to know your thoughts down below. So do let me know down below. Thank you for watching today's video and bye.